Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Simtimistic, like optimistic, but make it Sims, and I am back with another video with Jacob King, our future professor. And this is his first week in Oasis Springs, and he's just taking a quick little jog around town, enjoying the beautiful views of the mountains and just a nice day outside. This is exactly what he moved here for, this spacious, airy feeling. And I apologize for last few videos. I realized I was cutting off the screen. I didn't have the full dashboard. You couldn't really see the bottom of like how much money Jacob had or even some of the icons. So when I was saying Jacob didn't really have money to furnish his house, you couldn't really see what I'm talking about. Anyway, after his jog, then at the next day he gets up and he goes to the library. He doesn't have a computer at home due to his lack of funds. He's currently has $30. So he goes to the library to play some games because that's necessary for his career and just to meet people. Surprisingly, the people in The Sims are more social at the library than they are at like the clubs and the lounge. Let me know if you feel that way in the comments, but I feel like the library is like very social. People are very friendly. So maybe Jacob will meet some new people because he is very friendly. I've actually played with him off camera a little bit, and he went out to a bar one night before, maybe I think it was like Sunday or Saturday in the game, and he met a whole bunch of people, and he also spent a lot of time with the ladies at the bar. So maybe that's his flaw. We haven't figured out what Jacob's flaw is, but maybe he's easily distracted or he's non-committal. And here he is already socializing. He's leveling up his skill in video games for his career, but he's already socializing and he is meeting Brian Burkett, who is a librarian here. And usually the librarians aren't that friendly. Let me know if that's just me, but I feel like usually the librarians are just so focused on doing their job that they don't want to talk to anyone. So we'll see what happens with that. But he just keeps playing his video game and keeping the conversation going. He's checking to see if he's accomplished his daily video game play for the day. So let's introduce ourselves. Let's introduce ourselves to Brian and this woman. Her name is Macy Wade. So she seems nice too. She has on a pretty dress. Let's get to know everybody because you never know who he could connect with and what role they'll play in his life. Macy seems to have the lover archetype, so she seems to crave romantic relationships, but it also looks like she's a snob, which I don't know how close Jacob and her are gonna be if she's a snob, because that's not the type of person he is at all. He's very down to earth and wants to be cool with everybody and help everybody. So it looks like from this point on he might give a little more conversation to Brian. They seem to have a little more in common. Also, Brian is a librarian, so he likes books, which Jacob likes as well, even though he has a diverse range of interests. So Jacob and Brian chat a little more. Jacob is checking how far he is advancing for his task for the day. Jacob brings up world peace because that's one of the first things he's going to bring up when he's meeting new people, just so people understand what he's about and whether they fit into that. Oh, and this looks like a nice lady he can talk to. It's just, see, this is my point about the library. It's just a social room. Like, I feel like in real life, libraries are like these places where you have to be quiet, and I feel like in The Sims, like there doesn't even seem to be like a quiet area. It's like everybody come here and chat. It's like the neighborhood, I guess, social club. And it looks like Brian is innocent, which is a good trait for Jacob to be friends with someone like that because it means they have positive intentions and aren't trying to scheme. He's probably not going to be friends with like this lady Macy who's a snob or anybody who's particularly mean. And he also finished leveling up in his skill for video games, so now he's free to be social. And it looks like this girl Violet is a teen, so we're just gonna have Jacob slowly back out of that conversation. He doesn't need to be interacting with too many teens at this point until he's like fully a professor and he can have a professional relationship. And it looks like Brian is also a sage, so that's something else that him and Jacob have in common. These archetypes are from the Wicked Whims uh, mod, and so that's why you see those popping up, and they might not be in your game. I don't love everything about Wicked Whims, but that is one of the things that I like, so I keep that in my game as I'm playing it. He also found out that Brian is neat. Not sure how that's relevant to their friendship, but maybe that'll come up at some point later. So I'm gonna have him wrap up that conversation and move on to reading because he is at the library. And even though he has books at home, he doesn't have a lot of these books. Obviously, he doesn't have as many books, so he's gonna read a little bit while he continues to talk to Brian as Brian does work around the space. And I sped the time up a little bit, but now I'm gonna actually have them play chess together because that's something also he can't do at home. So use the community lots to do the things that you can't do at home. The Sims, I feel like that's what people do in real life. They go to the library, they don't have a computer. Or they go to the library, they don't have books, at least here in New York City. I don't know, every library isn't that great, but some have all these assets. Anyway, that's my mini rant on support your local library. So I'm going to let them continue getting to know each other. They're going to talk about art a little bit and talk about their different interests. Seems like this might be his new BFF, so we're going to see what happens. And he had a nice day at the library meeting Brian and a couple of other people, but now I'm going to have him get ready to wrap things up and head on home. So it was pretty late, so I actually just cut that part out. He went home and he went to sleep. And so we're at the next day. I cut out the part where he went to work because that's just things sped up. And we are running into a little difficulty because he needs to pay his bills and they're $492 and he has $300. So we need to figure out what we're going to do about that because they already shut off his electricity and now they're going to shut off his water in a day. But of course, all Jacob cares about is going to school, so there's some stuff in the mail for him to see what scholarships he got. So he needs to figure that out first. But it looks like good news. So he's going to open the scholarship letter and he got $500 to go to school. He received the Education for All scholarship. Look at him getting his dance on. Hit your little Dougie like it's 2010. But anyway, he got his scholarship. It's a need-based scholarship because they knew that he was broke. And then he got another scholarship from just living in Oasis Springs, which is amazing because he's a new resident. And he's going to represent Oasis Springs. He's never going to forget about them, even if he leaves. He's already excited. Look at him talking to strangers, telling them about his story. But clearly, she didn't want to hear that, so she must be a hater. We're not even going to trip off of her, so because we already got bills to pay. So let's focus on paying some of these bills because we do not want to be without water. That's a real problem. So we're going to have to sell his TV. And voila, insert little ass TV. So now to actually pay the bills because he has a little more money now that he sold that TV that he probably should have never bought, but his bad. And just gonna go to the mailbox, pay bills, and then I'm gonna have him apply to university because that's what this is all about, right? So he's just gonna apply and we're gonna wrap the day up. He's gonna have to wait a few days to see if he got into school, but Tuesday is pretty much over. He's just gonna settle in and get ready for work, and I'll bring him into the next day. So here we are the next day after work, and it looks like Jacob has already been promoted. I know he's tense because he's been working hard, but it's amazing that, this is just a temporary job and he's already boosted up to quality assurance. I mean, this just shows how much he could focus, how well he can do when he can focus on what he needs to get done. And I wonder how the washer and dryer ended up two different colors. I didn't see that when I was building it, but maybe I just didn't notice because of the lighting. Right now, we're gonna get him a computer finally, and he's gonna have to get the basic computer. But listen, he needs to have a computer for school. I have an iPad in there, a CC, but I didn't want to mess with that because I didn't know if it worked with university, so I just got him a simple computer and he can use that for when it's time to start his courses because as a psych major, he is going to need a computer. He also has enough money to get himself a hamper so he can stop throwing his clothes everywhere on the floor. See, the joys of being promoted. You get basic necessities. I don't know if it's a basic necessity, but a necessity to be clean and neat. And once this is all done, I'm gonna have him invite Brian over because that's his friend, and he's gonna tell him the great news about getting promoted. Ignore that Lyric looks mad old. If y'all watch the other videos, ignore that because I had to go back in and fix that because she's not supposed to be old. I don't know what happened here. And if you don't know who Lyric is, you're missing out. Watch my other videos with Lyric and her sister. These Sims are in the same save file. So Lyric actually met Jacob at a bar. I think one of the days I played off camera. So they know each other. They're not close, but they do know each other. So Brian's about to come over. I'm just gonna have Jacob chill out and watch some TV while he waits for Brian to show up. And Brian's already here. Wait, whose man's is this? Okay, I don't know who this person is, hence me pausing the game because I'm like, who is this at the door? But this is Ari Beatty, and I don't know what kind of CC he has going on his head. Like, I wish that wouldn't happen. I wish the CC, like, wouldn't randomly. I know some creators turn off the CC so they aren't randomized, but I wish it would like know like this is a barrette and he doesn't have hair for a barrette, so why is this on his head? But Jacob doesn't care about that because he loves everybody, so he's just gonna say hi to this guy. Even though he wants to spend time with his friend, this guy does live in Oasis Springs and he's a neighbor, so he just wants to be friendly, get to know him a little bit, and chat for a little while, but he has to go tend to his friend who's at his house because Brian's already playing the computer, so clearly you're not entertaining your guest, Jacob. All right, Jacob, wrap this conversation up. Look, Brian's getting up. I don't know if he's leaving. Hopefully, he's just going to the restroom or getting some food. Oh, he's getting the laundry. Wow, good friend over here getting the laundry while you out here talking to this random dude. Like, how many of your friends help you with the laundry? Amazing. Yeah, go ahead, guy. Ari, you need to go. See you around the neighborhood. So Jacob walks back in and he's finally gonna tell Brian about his day, his exciting news, but also that he's like exhausted and work was so difficult because he feels like he can trust Brian, He just seems like a stand-up guy, so he's comfortable telling him about what's going on in his life. Like he's like, look at the crap I gotta deal with at work. These people having all these technical issues every day, they call, they don't even want to unplug their computer and start it all over. They should already do that before they call. But enough of that. They're just going to watch a movie and relax and chill. So they watch a movie and already they're bored. The movie didn't even start. The credits just is coming up and they're already bored. So I don't know how well this is going to go because clearly whatever movie they put on, they didn't have the attention span for. And so Brian's like, you know what? let me just say, like, this movie is whack. Like, we need to be doing something else. And Jacob's like, yeah, we should do something crazy. I don't know what it is, but we should do something crazy. For once in our lives, we're young. We gotta go on some crazy adventure. Not tonight, man, because I'm tired, but some night we should do something crazy. So that's the end of their evening. The movie was whack, so Brian's just gonna go home. Jacob already shared with him the good news, so time to wrap up. And I just sped it up to the next day again after work. And it looks like there's something in the mail again. I think it's already time to know if we got into school or not. So Jacob's gonna get all the mail, and hopefully there's some good news in there for him. And Brian's here again. I hope he's not one of those annoying friends that like just come over way too much. Like, we like Brian, but he might have OD'd. And he got into both universities. Good for him, even though we already know he wants to go to Foxbury because he needs his distinguished degree. Maybe one day I should play with like the non-distinguished degree. I'm not fully sure the difference it makes and see if that works. But yeah, he's hype. And I'm being a creeper looking at him through the bushes. There. Yeah, that's better. So we're gonna let Brian hang out, even though we just saw him yesterday, because Jacob is just on a high. He just keeps having good news. He got promoted. He'd been in Oasis Springs for 1 week, and he got into school, and he got extra scholarship money. So Jacob is just really ready to take on the world. So Jacob goes to tell him, oh, look who is calling, Jamie Waterman. So y'all don't know her yet because, again, that one small time I played off camera, he met Jamie Waterman at the bar when he met Lyric and like all these other ladies. And he actually really likes Jamie. She's really nice and smart and like cares about the environment like him. So they connected, and he figured like, hey, I'm here to celebrate. Even though Brian's here, I'm gonna have her come over too, because at this point they're just friends. There's like nothing, there's a little flirtiness between them, but nothing too crazy. So everybody's just gonna hang out. He's gonna tell them the good news. He got into school, is paid for, at least for this term, and he's ready. So everybody chills and they hang out, and he tells them all about his plans. And just so you guys know a little more about Jamie, so they have a lot in common. Like, she cares about the earth, she's a gardener currently, and she's also very active. And Jacob is very active. Like, you saw him going on his run, and he's also into yoga, or he wants to get better at being into yoga. But they're I feel like this is such a good group of friends. Even if nothing romantic happens between Jacob and Jamie, I feel like maybe they can all be friends. Like, they all seem like people with good heads on their shoulders and smart and genuine. So that's gonna be cool. And then Jacob goes to order some pizza because he does have a lady over. He doesn't want to give her his day-old salad that's in the fridge. It's bad enough that they are all watching this 13-inch fatback television. And so I think he's going to get Canadian bacon. I feel like Jacob would eat Canadian bacon, but maybe Jacob will be vegan one day. I don't know. I haven't had a vegan sim. Let me know if you've done that in the comments and if it's difficult. I feel like it would be really difficult, but maybe not. And the pizza's already here, so that was quick. Sometimes I order pizza for the Sims and like it never shows up. Jacob goes to get the pizza. He gives this guy a nice tip because I'm sure that was under an hour. That probably was like 15 minutes. And then he's gonna go serve the pizza to his friends, and they're just gonna continue to chill for a little while. And while they're all eating pizza, Jacob and Brian become good friends, which is amazing. Like, I feel like this is like a 2-day friendship, and they're already mad tight. I don't know why Jamie didn't eat and why she left. That's kind of weird, but whatever. Jacob's in such a good mood that he doesn't care. He's not pressed. So soon after, Brian leaves as well, and Jacob just gets ready to go to bed. I cut out his night routine and him sleeping because that's pretty boring. So it's the next day, and Jacob is actually not going to go to work today because he was up till 1 o'clock in the morning hanging with his friends, and he just got promoted, and he just feels like he deserves this. This is not his career anyway, this is just a job to get by. So if he has PTO, he's going to take it. But today, he's not just going to sit around and watch the news all day. He's actually going to do something very exciting. If you remember, yesterday he got accepted into both universities, and now it is time for him to enroll. So we already know he's going to go to Foxbury, but we have to pick his classes and get ready for that. And here is the overview on both universities. If you haven't seen it before, just pause the video so you can read through. I was just looking at the student organizations. They don't seem that exciting at Foxbury for his degree, but maybe. So I'm just going through the degrees, and I already know he's doing psychology, but I'm just double checking and making sure everything is in his career path. Well, he could also be a detective or a diamond agent. I don't know if that fits with saving the world, maybe, but we'll see. Let's just get through the first term. And he's going to do 2 classes because I want him to be a part-time student. Maybe if he does well this term, he can do an elective, but I didn't really see any electives that like he'll be dying to do. And I'm going to see how this part-time student life works and if it's sustainable, because it means it's going to take him a little longer to finish school. And this is the part where he picks where he's going to stay. He could stay on campus, but I'm just going to have him stay at home because, again, he's a part-time student. He's not living the full college life. Now I just check this part and make sure everything's right with the tuition, 2 classes, his merit scholarship, well, not a merit scholarship, need-based scholarship, his Oasis Spring scholarship, and he's all set. He's even going to get some money back, which is amazing. And then there is his class schedule right there ready. So class starts in 5 days, and he's all set. Just gonna make sure he has his presentation board and his notebook for homework. And that's about it, you guys. Thanks for watching my video with Jacob King, future professor. And let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff for more videos on Jacob and my other Sims. And let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you don't want to see. Thanks, y'all. Bye.